Hello everybody, I'm Amalgamash. Welcome back to the channel. This is Smile Game Builder, and today I want to take a look at one of the small features that they actually give us access to. If you go into the configuration file that appears in the main menu right after the splash screen, you are actually able to select what language you want to use. The engine comes with two native languages, English and Japanese, but it also comes with a third file that you can select that says English Language Pack. Now, this refers specifically to an external file, not one that is embedded within the engine itself. And you can get to this external file by going to Program Files, x86, Steam, Steam Apps, Commons, Smile Game Builder, and Languages. So, see if you go into the Smile Game Builder folder, you've got an English folder, which we're not going to mess with that because we can't. And we have a Languages folder. Go in there and you will have an English file. It's english.tsv. This can be edited in a text editor. This English test file is one that I have built from the English file just to kind of test things and prove a couple of points. But let's open up this English file and see what it looks like. Opening up the english.tsv file, you have got 3 sections on each line, and each line is completely self-contained. The first section of the line is the object and the property, while the second line is the text that is shown on that property within that object. So in other words, every single one of these is going to be the name of a specific button or label or title, description, tooltip, text, something like that somewhere in the engine. These are all basically locations within the engine where the text following will display. For example, label 2.text says new game. Now the third section is proprietary to Smile Game Builder's design. We're not going to touch that. In fact, we're not going to touch anything except for the text in the very middle. And there is a syntax to this. There is actually a way that you can edit this without breaking anything. There is a tab right before this text, separating it from the object and property, and a tab right after. Just one tab. That's it. So in other words, if you change the text in this middle section to whatever you want, you can do that without hurting anything, as long as you leave the leading and tailing tabs. Now, there is a lot to do here, but using this method, you can actually translate the Smile Game Builder engine text to whatever language you want. You can then take that file, you can share it, distribute it to other people, you can get a team together and translate this entire thing into whatever language you want. You can translate it to Pig Latin if you want. I'm not going to save my changes there because I have a file that I made that I'm going to save. And what I did was I actually, just to prove that every one of these lines is self-contained and that it's really hard to break anything, I cut sections out of it. And let's just go to a random spot and then enter. I'm going to create this line right here. We're going to paste what I just cut and paste it right in here. And I haven't broken the convention of object and property, then tab, then text, then tab, and then whatever that is, reference, and we will save this. Now, something that it does say, and this is true, the changes will take effect after the application is relaunched. So you can't see these changes right away. You actually have to close Smile Game Builder and reopen it. It doesn't matter if you're in a project, out of a project, in the splash screen, you change projects, change the language in the configuration file. You have to close Smile Game Builder, then reopen it, and then pick the language pack that you're wanting. But make sure that you pick language pack and not the built-in native English. And we're just going to go with the test file that I just now made. Hit OK. I'm going to load up my minimum resources template, which I made has the bare minimum, so it loads very, very fast. And check it out. We have actually edited the text right in the engine. This used to say add assets. Now it says add assets, you fool. There were a couple of other things that I changed, but I don't remember where they are. But you can change any of that. Now, there was a project that was being worked on to translate this entire thing into Spanish. And I think that the team kind of gave up on it because a new version of Smile Game Builder came out. But if you look at this file, you pay attention to it, these lines are self-contained. They're out of sequence anyway, which means, to me, it means that the developers may have followed a convention where they added to this, and they likely added to the end. So in other words, if a new version of Smile Game Builder comes out in the middle of your translation project, check out the very last thing in your document. In this case, for my test file, well, that's kind of worked up. In this case, whoops. In the original English document, the current one, that is label3.text, resolution. Look for this line in the new version of Smile Game Builder, and if it appears at the very end, you're good to go. Just keep working on your translation. If it does not appear at the end, but it appears further up and there's stuff after it, that stuff after it is what they added. And as long as you take and cut, or copy rather, everything that comes after the last line and paste it into your old document should very easily be upgradable to the new Smile Game Builder engine. So you should never have to worry about your project becoming incompatible due to version changes. And you know, although it's possible for them to go ahead and break your progress by changing the convention by which they allow the extensibility to the other languages, it's just as possible for them to break it by adding new features and the rest of your project gets invalidated, like maps or abilities or anything else you put in. So that's just the thing I wanted to go over and show you how easy it was to actually translate the engine into whatever language. So hope you found it useful. That is all.